Hey guys, Tennessee Yankee, welcome back to the channel. It's been a long time since I did a XRC video, and today I'm going to do my first gearbox oil change and my first differential oil change. So I'm going to take you along on that and we'll get her done together. Alright guys, so my XRC has 142 hours on it. Let's check out the mileage. I'm at 1,464 miles. This is my 2019. So I'm right in between the first service interval for this. Let's look at the manual, show you what it calls for. So guys, let me show you what you're going to need here for these diff and gearbox changes. I went through everything. I've already cleaned up my machine. It was quite a mess. I'll show you that spliced in the video later. So probably got about 25 minutes to a half hour just cleaning out under the skid plates and getting that all cleaned up, finding the drain plugs. So what we're going to need is, you're going to need a 17 millimeter socket. That's going to be for the gearbox drain plug in the back. And then for the, let me look at this and make sure I got it right for you. Then we got a 10 millimeter Allen, which is our biggest one here. And the 10 millimeter Allen is actually going to be for the rear dipstick. When you first look at that, it looks like that it takes a wrench, but that's just a piece of plastic, and you actually use the Allen and not the outside, which kind of appeared to be a 17 millimeter wrench, but it's not. And then as far as the front differential, the smallest one here is a 5 millimeter Allen. That's going to be for the drain. And then this, what size was this one? This is an 8 millimeter Allen here. This one's going to be for the fill plug. So 5 to drain, 8 to fill, 17 to drain in the rear, and then the 10 for the fill. As far as the fluids that we got for this, using Can-Am fluids, we got 75 weight 90. This is the front diff, and then the rear diff is different. It takes 75 weight 140, or the rear gearbox takes 75 weight 140. Now let's go to the book and we'll talk about those intervals. So what it's calling for is, for the initial time of doing the gearbox oil, it wants you to either do 2,000 miles or 200 hours, or if you're the severe duty, which severe duty they call, if you're in mud all the time and a lot of dust and pulling heavy things, then that's going to be 1,000 miles or 100 hours. So for the gearbox, I'm basically kind of right in between. I'm at 1,464 and 142 hours, so that'll be good timing to do that. And then for the rear differential, that has a longer duration. They don't call for that until 100 hours or 2,000 miles. And severe duty would be 200 hours, 4,000 miles. But I'm just going to go ahead and do both of those today. I also went through, I like doing this kind of ahead of time so I don't have to search around when it's time to fill it. So capacity on the front diff is going to be it's going to be 14 ounces, and then capacity on the gearbox oil is going to be 50.7 ounces. They called for it in liters, but I find it easier just to convert it to ounces, and then I can easily measure it. So 50.7, and of course, let's see, what do I got here? I need 14 ounce for the front diff, and you get 32 ounces in their container. So basically you have enough for 2 of them in the front diff. As far as the rear, it's going to take 50 ounces. These also come in quarts, so you got 64 ounces between the 2 of them. So you're going to need at least 2 quarts to do the rear gearbox. So check this out, guys. As you can see, there's a considerable amount of pre-work that needs to be done. What a mess. I should have taken this outside the shop, but this is basically everything that was up under my skid plates back there. I wanted to get all this cleaned out before I get to the differential plugs. and the gearbox plugs. So the front wasn't too bad at all, but the back had a lot of stuff packed in. So I got it all cleaned out. I'm gonna take her out of the shop, get this area cleaned up, and then we can get started on showing you guys the drain locations and getting her drained. Okay, so let's get started at the gearbox back here at the back of the machine. So you can see the muffler here. Where the fill tube is right here. I'm pointing my little magnet at it. So right here. And it's at the top there that takes that 10 millimeter socket to pull that out. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen that up. And then we'll go underneath and I'll show you where the drain plug is. You can kind of see that right here, pulling it out for you. I'll just stick that back in there right now until I get the drain going. Okay guys, this is going to be kind of tight quarters under here, so let me show you the bearings. So right here's the hitch, and then if you come under the skid plate here, here's the hitch eyelets. You just follow this right back here. It's this big round hole right here with the tiny little hole in front of it. That is the drain plug that takes the 17 millimeter socket to drain that. I'll show you what that looks like here. As you can see, it needed a lot of cleaning. Well, you can't see that, but that was packed full of mud up around that skid plate earlier. That sucker's tight. All right, first time since the factory. Pretty milky looking. Not sure it's nice and convenient to get to though. Still looks pretty good. I'll go ahead and check this drain plug for any metal shavings. All right, so here it is. Actually, it looks like there might be a small amount on there, which I assume is normal. Yeah, kind of. It's more or less seems to be just really. There's got to be some shavings in there, some fine shavings, but it's just really gunked up with the oil there. Seemed to do his job. Okay, between the air hose, some degreaser, and a dental tool, I got it all cleaned out in there. So, like I said, I think it was pretty much full of oil and shavings, all the way to the top of that magnet. Now it's clean and ready to catch some more, I guess. No need to get crazy with it. We'll say that's good. All right, let's pull this dipstick out. Get her cleaned up. So here she is. So yeah, this is what I was talking about, guys. So this is, it kind of looks like a piece of metal when it's sitting back there, but this is all just plastic. So at first I was thinking this was like a 17 millimeter or wrench that went around it, but that isn't. It's just this 10 millimeter Allen that goes in there. And this, like I said, it was all packed full of mud. So I just blew that out with the air hose. All right, let's fill her up. So here you can see the fill hole now. I'll point my finger to it. Not to be confused with the engine oil, which is the gray one right here. Okay guys, I'm going to show you how the Yankee does fluids. I'm kind of geeky about it. So want to make sure I get the right amount in. This rear gearbox calls for 50.7 ounces. So I'll fill one of them just out of my quart jug. And then of course that's going to mean I'm going to need another 18.7 ounces to top it off. So what I have out here usually with in my shop is I have kind of a Pyrex and one of these little measuring cups. So I'm going to go ahead and put 16 ounces in this big one, and then put another 2.7 ounces or so in this small one, and then I'll have the amount I need for the second container. And again, guys, this is the 75W40 is what goes in the gearbox. All right, so let's get 16 ounces towards our 18.7 for the second container. And in my opinion, this beats putting a little in, checking the dipstick, putting a little in, checking the dipstick. Just measure it precisely to begin with, and usually gets you right where you want to be. So there's 16 ounces. And then we need another 2.7, which this has a 3-ounce graduation. So let's get 3 ounces in this one, just shy of 3 ounces. It's got a 2.5 ounce graduation and a 3. So these are pretty nice containers. So there's right in between, actually a little full. Looks like I've got to 3, so I'll just dump a little bit back. Let's see what that does. Yeah, it's about 2.7. What I found for the most part usually is I feel like when I follow the specifications to the letter, I think it usually gets me at the halfway mark on the dipstick. So it doesn't hurt to have a little more when you're done anyway. Okay, so there's my 18.7 ounces. And then I'll put another full 32 ounces in to get to my 50.7. One of these hose funnels comes in handy if you got one. They're still a pain because the hose kinks, but I'm going to go ahead and fill this. And it's got an on-off valve. Go ahead and fill this with my pre-filled one. See if we can get this to work without spilling. These are the kind of things that just make you ornery. What do you guys do for this? Because this is a pain. Look how slow this is, and You get all these kinks in the hose just trying to get it to the right spot. It's flowing pretty decent right now. Okay, there's one. I think these funnels are nice to have, but I think to do it right, you just got to have a really long hose so you can actually be up here on the outside of your machine and not have to kink your hose. Okay, that's it. All right, let's go in for a dipstick check. What do we got here? Looks like I'm exactly halfway mark. I see fluid right up here to the middle X. Guess we're going to call that good. Nice and clean. Get that tightened back in there. Okay, rear's done. Wow, guys, major oversight here. When I was putting that, you see what this is? This is my drain plug washer. You know what I just did? I put the drain plug in without the washer, and I just filled it with fresh fluid. So obviously I'm going to have an issue because I have to take the drain plug back off, put this washer on. So I'm going to have to find a way to catch my clean fluid and reuse it. So I thought it was weird when I put that plug back in that there was no washer with it, and I just assumed it was kind of built into the design. Luckily, I found this on my drain pan, so hopefully you guys continued to watch here and didn't just stop early thinking, hey, I don't need a washer, because you certainly do, and now I gotta fix this problem. Okay, guys, makes me kind of sick. We got to redo this, but it is what it is. Learn from my mistakes. So I found this, I got this little cooler here. I'm going to go ahead and use this to catch my oil. It's cleaned out. That way I won't have to waste my, who knows how much that is now, 40, 50 bucks worth of oil. What I will do here, this will probably be smart. I could probably minimize the amount of fluid that comes out. If I'm ready with my washer, I might be able to get it back in there fairly quickly. Still a little messy. I got it in there though. Okay, looks like I'll have to use that little bit of fluid that I got left. Let's see, I got some on the ground here. let's see how much I saved. Tighten this guy up first. Okay, we got that on the floor. We saved this in the cooler. Let's see what the verdict is. Probably with what's on the floor, I probably lost about 16 ounces. So put a little bit over 16 ounces back in there. Or actually, let's see. Nah, I'm at like 12 ounces there, so I'll probably just put about 16 back in. I should be pretty close. All right, guys, so I just did one more fluid fill with this 16 ounces. Checked it again. I'm good to go. Let's move to the front. Don't make that mistake. Okay, so after that rear fiasco, we finally made it to the front to do the differential. So right here, past the A-arm, past the boot on the drive line, you can see right in there, I'm pointing to it right now, is the 8mm fill plug for the front diff. Let me get down here with a little better view so you can see it right there. All right, now we're going to go underneath and drain this. So just like I did on the back, let me show you where this drain plug is. So here's the winch, front bash plate, and then you have hole here, second hole, third hole. This third hole is the one that has the 5mm drain plug in it. And here's a close-up of what that looks like. So again, second hole, first hole, bash plate. I just put my Allen in my vice grips to give me the leverage I need. There we go. This is a pretty small drain plug. I don't want to lose it in my pan hole. There we go. I'll take the camera up and show you this one. Looks like we got some good shavings on this one too. Pretty dark. Okay guys, I got the drain plug out as you saw. I'm also gonna break open this fill plug because I want to make sure that there's, you know, enough full airflow or whatever. So everything's coming out. I'll show you a little trick here. This is common knowledge to a lot of people, but for a lot of guys, this may be new to you. But a lot of times, you know, I got to go to take my Allen here and go lengthways, and there's just not enough leverage for me to get this loose. So I got a pipe here. I'll stick this pipe over the end. That's going to give me the necessary leverage to pull up on this thing. You saw what I did over there at the bottom with my channel locks, but this was a little more awkward position, so this pipe works great. So that breaks it open. can just unscrew it the rest of the way by hand. Didn't really open up any more flow for me, but so this is what that plug looks like. And again, this is our 8mm. Okay, let's get a closer look at that drain plug with on our 5mm. But you can kind of see, and apologize, the Yankee still uses his phone for all his videos, so it's kind of hard to zoom in sometimes and focus. But yeah, you can see, I think, the kind of the metal shaving buildup on there, doing what it's supposed to. That is a tiny drain plug. And as you can see, this one, there's that little, remember how the other one we had the washer we came off? This one's got the washer here too, but it's nice and tight on there. So we're not going to have that problem this time. So let's go ahead and get this cleaned off. We'll put it back in and refill the front. Okay guys, I think this is going to work. It would have been just impossible, I think, to fill this with the bottle. So I got my funnel here that's got the flexible hose on it. You won't even be able to see it, but I got the hose feeding right into the opening. Like I said, I zip tied it here to keep it in place. Doesn't look like my hose has too many kinks on it. I got the valve closed, so I'm going to go ahead and fill this with, I think that's about 12 ounces. It's not quite level, so yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, now I'm gonna check to make sure that it's still in the hole. And it wasn't, it came out. So, all right, I'll hold it in place. Now I'm gonna open this valve. And hopefully she'll fill up nice. This is where the zip ties, again, come in handy because you only got so many hands. She's flowing and it's not leaking on the floor, so. I'll have to find you guys one of these funnels and put it in the description because, again, it's, or run out to your parts store and get one because it's crazy. That's flowing good. Now we should start to see it spilling now because I put 12 ounces in there, the capacity's 10. So I should have some overflow here. I'm gonna put a little bit more in there because still I don't really see it flowing out of the bottom. So I want to see it coming out the bottom. Oh, you know what? I said earlier, I think that it took 10 ounces. It took 14, which is probably just about what I've put in there so far. So I'm just going to keep going a little bit more. Okay, this is not easy. Okay. All right, guys, can you see that? That's exactly what we're supposed to be looking like. Just got that fluid sitting there on the threads. A little bit can seep out. Now we'll go ahead and put the plug in. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. I hope I hope that was helpful to you guys. I hope I was able to save you some time, at least, you know, that hopefully on your finding the parts quicker, finding some of the wrench sizes, some of the capacities. But appreciate you joining me, and we'll see you on the next video. Hey guys, Tennessee Yankee. Thanks for watching. If you found this content helpful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button on your right. I have other content linked for you on the left side. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Thanks again for watching.